Episode 1. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. The narrative picks up after the events of the Thanedd Coup, following the three main characters, Geralt, Yennefer, and Ciri, on their separate paths. The episode marks the debut of Liam Hemsworth as Geralt, following Henry Cavill's departure. The episode begins with an older storyteller recounting the legend of Geralt of Rivia to a young Nimue, who claims to know the real version of the story from a book written by Jaskier. This framing device offers a glimpse into the future of the Witcher's lore. A still-injured Geralt, accompanied by Jaskier and the archer Milva, journeys toward Nilfgaard to rescue Ciri, whom he mistakenly believes is being held by Emperor Emhyr. Along the way, they encounter the dwarf Zoltan Shive and other refugees, forming a new fellowship known as the Hansa. In a chance encounter, Geralt and his companions find a caravan raided by corpse robbers. There, they discover a captive Cahir, whom Geralt spares for Ciri's sake but threatens to kill if they meet again. Later, Cahir returns the favor by killing an enemy soldier who has escaped from a fight. Geralt is still visibly affected by his injury from the duel with Vilgefortz and has a nightmare about Ciri. He makes decisions, like stripping a dead soldier for his boots, that show he is entering a more savage and desperate period of his life. Rebuilding Aretuza. After the destruction of Aretuza and the death of her mentor Tisea, Yennefer begins to assemble the remaining mages to form a resistance against Vilgefortz, who she believes is controlling portals. During an interrogation of a captured mage, Vilgefortz takes possession of the mage's body to taunt Yennefer before killing his follower to cover his tracks. Embracing the rats, Ciri, who now goes by the alias Falka, has joined the outlaw gang known as the Rats. She is reveling in her freedom and hiding from her past. She forms a romantic connection with Mistle, but ultimately decides to stay with the Rats instead of immediately returning north to reunite with Geralt. Episode 2. Geralt and his companions find temporary respite and a surprising new ally. While camping in an elven graveyard, Geralt, Jaskier, Milva, and Zoltan meet the mysterious Emil Regis Rohelek Terzif Godefroy, a barber surgeon. Regis invites them to his house, where he treats Geralt's still-healing injury and plies the group with his homemade moonshine. The night of drinking brings the group closer together, and Regis decides to join the Hansa on their journey, offering his skills as a healer and his surprising wisdom. Ciri joins the Rats for their first heist, which ultimately goes wrong. However, Ciri manages to save the day by fighting off guards, and then, after the Rats get upset, she gives the peasants their plundered coins back. The peasants' gratitude earns the Rats new admirers, which leads them to officially induct Ciri into their ranks, giving her a symbolic token. Despite Ciri accepting her new family, one of the Rats, Kaylee, has been watching her closely and holds a wanted poster offering a generous reward for Ciri, suggesting a possible future betrayal. Yennefer continues to build a resistance against Vilgefortz, visiting other powerful mages to recruit them. Her next stop is the Elven Queen, Francesca Findabair. Yennefer convinces Fringilla Vigo to act as a double agent and spy on Vilgefortz. Back in Nilfgaard, Emperor Emhyr realizes that the Ciri he has been hosting is an imposter. The discovery happens quickly when he tests the fake Ciri's fighting abilities, revealing that she lacks a Witcher's training. Episode 3. Geralt and the Hansa, now including Regis, arrive at a refugee camp where they discover a horrific witch trial is taking place. A young woman, Talva, is about to be burned at the stake. Geralt confronts the mob and challenges the priest to a fight, but is instead goaded into a trial by ordeal. Regis, a vampire in disguise, inexplicably passes the test, saving the accused women. A Nilfgaardian raid on the camp turns the confrontation into a brutal fight, and though Geralt and his group manage to fight their way out, many of the refugees are killed in the chaos. Ciri continues to grow into her new identity as the Falka with the Rats. However, her actions attract the attention of a fearsome new villain, the bounty hunter Leo Bonhart. Bonhart, known for his ability to kill witchers, begins hunting Ciri and her new friends. Their first encounter, a brutal fight, showcases Bonhart's skill and sets up a major conflict for the rest of the season. Ciri's bond with her fellow rat, Mistle, grows deeper in this episode. As they share their fears and secrets, their relationship develops beyond just friendship. Yennefer continues to assemble her forces against Vilgefortz, learning more about his powers and manipulative tactics. She successfully enlists more mages to her side, including the Elven Queen Francesca Findabair. Yennefer's trusted spy, Fringilla, is revealed to have been compromised by Vilgefortz, who knew about her shaky allegiance all along. This puts Yennefer's plans and her army at risk. Episode 4. Geralt and Jaskier are taken captive by Redanian forces. They are sentenced to death for conspiring with Nilfgaard, despite Jaskier's protests. The rest of the Hansa, including Milva, Zoltan, Regis, and the recently freed Cahir, launch a coordinated rescue. During a bloody battle, a wounded Cahir and the dwarves show their loyalty by fighting on Geralt's behalf. Geralt uses a powerful Witcher elixir given to him by Regis, allowing him to decimate soldiers from both sides. When he has Cahir at his mercy, Jaskier is hurt, forcing Geralt to choose his friend over revenge. Regis uses an unknown supernatural ability to help the Hansa escape, causing an explosion. This, combined with his earlier feats, confirms his vampiric nature to Geralt. Ciri and the rats encounter a Greylock, a normally harmless creature infected by a parasite. The monster attacks them, but Ciri's burgeoning Witcher skills and focused chaos allow her to defeat it. Ciri and Mistle's bond continues to deepen. Ciri reveals her past with Geralt and Yennefer, but she still feels she is better off without them. Mistle, however, overheard Ciri say Geralt's name during a previous vision. Yennefer believes she is working with Istred to understand Vilgefortz's plan for Ciri, but the audience learns that Vilgefortz has been impersonating Istred the entire time. Istred, while captive, reveals that Ciri has a rare mutation of elder blood that allows her to manipulate time and space. Vilgefortz, impersonating Yennefer, learns this and decides he wants to steal her power. As Yennefer is trying to form an alliance, she sends Fringilla to spy on Vilgefortz. However, Fringilla is revealed to be a double agent, working for both sides. Vilgefortz knew of her shaky allegiance from the start and traps her and Istred. The episode marks the halfway point of the season, escalating the conflict and resetting the board for the characters. Geralt finds new meaning in his journey with his Hansa, Ciri continues to discover her true power and the dangers that come with it, and Yennefer's alliance building is complicated by deception and betrayal. In the 5th episode, after their bloody rescue in episode 4, Geralt, Jaskier, Milva, Zoltan, Regis, and Cahir find a safe place to rest and recover. The group shares stories around a campfire, strengthening their bond. The episode features a sequence of animated storytelling, where Regis recounts his past and reveals the weight of his vampirism. This helps the Hansa understand Regis's history and motives. Despite the temporary peace, the episode ends with a sense of foreboding, reminding the Hansa that their rest is only temporary and that danger awaits. In episode 6, Yennefer, leading her army of sorceresses, makes a final stand against the powerful and villainous Vilgefortz. The ensuing conflict is a visually explosive and dramatic set piece, reminiscent of the Battle of Sodden Hill. The battle features moments of both trust and betrayal. Yennefer, still contending with the manipulation of Vilgefortz and her double agent Fringilla, must navigate these shifting alliances and the loyalty of the sorceresses around her. The episode is packed with magical action sequences and powerful displays of sorcery, showcasing the strength and tactical ability of Yennefer and the sorceresses. A costly battle, the battle concludes with both sides suffering casualties, including some key allies for Yennefer. Despite the heavy losses, Vilgefortz manages to escape. Following the battle, Yennefer forms a sisterhood with some of the surviving sorceresses, but she ultimately decides to go after Vilgefortz alone to settle the score. The episode's narrative and events, as the midway point of the season, foreshadow the bigger conflict that awaits the characters. The framing device involving the storyteller Nimue continues to set up the future of the Witcher's lore. Meanwhile, on Geralt's journey, the Hansa moves on while Yennefer is at Monte Calvo. Geralt and his Hansa are still on their journey. Ciri's new life with her found family, the rats, begins to weigh on her conscience. She questions the group's chaotic plundering and becomes unsettled by their growing brutality. The bounty hunter Leo Bonhart continues his pursuit of Ciri and the rats. His growing menace and cruelty create a new source of conflict for Ciri, especially as her identity as Falka is challenged. The rats, particularly Ciri's love interest Mistle, may have information about Ciri's true identity, which could put Ciri in further danger. A key moment in the episode involves Fringilla, who previously sided with Yennefer against Vilgefortz. However, Vilgefortz reveals Fringilla's betrayal, leaving Yennefer to question who she can trust. Episode 7 brings Geralt and Yennefer back together. After Yennefer's strategic, magical showdown with Vilgefortz at Monte Calvo in episode 6, she learns that the Ciri Emhyr holds captive is an imposter. Yennefer uses a portal to confront the fake Ciri, Terran, and learns that Vilgefortz was the one who manipulated her. She then finds Geralt to share what she knows, finally reuniting the pair. Geralt and Yennefer have a brief but passionate reunion, reaffirming their commitment to finding Ciri and solidifying their bond. Despite their reunion, Yennefer and Geralt understand they must divide and conquer to save Ciri. Yennefer chooses to go after Vilgefortz directly, believing he poses the greatest threat to Ciri and the remaining mages. With Triss's help, Yennefer is able to track a weakened Vilgefortz and pursue him to his hidden location in Stygia Castle. In the Season 4 finale, Geralt and his new family, the Hansa, find themselves caught in a bloody battle between Nilfgaardian and Northern forces on the Yarrow River. With Milva suffering a miscarriage, Geralt and the others lead a charge against the Nilfgaardians to defend the bridge. During the intense fighting, Jaskier, a former enemy, stands by Geralt, getting revenge on the very empire he once served. For his bravery, Geralt is knighted by Queen Medb of Rivia, fulfilling a childhood fantasy. However, the knighthood comes at a cost, as it binds him to the Queen and creates a new obstacle in his single-minded quest to save Ciri. This realization leaves Geralt feeling empty, as his true fantasy, reuniting his family, remains out of reach. Ciri's time with her found family, the rats, ends in tragedy. The bounty hunter Leo Bonhart, who had been hunting them all season, brutally slaughters the group. A helpless witness, Ciri arrives too late to save her friends and is captured by Bonhart. She is forced to watch as he beheads her girlfriend, Mistle, along with the rest of the rats. The massacre strips Ciri of her last shreds of innocence, hardening her and pushing her to confront her immense power, which she had previously tried to escape. The Sorceresses Lodge. In the aftermath of the devastating Battle of Monte Calvo, Yennefer gathers the surviving sorceresses to form the Lodge of Sorceresses, a new body of magic users dedicated to protecting the continent. A new purpose. Yennefer initially confesses her regret for engaging in open warfare but is renewed with purpose. She entrusts the lodge to Triss and sets out on her own to hunt down and destroy the treacherous Vilgefortz. Pursuit of Vilgefortz, she tracks Vilgefortz to his hideout at Stygia Castle, which she reaches by swimming through a vortex in the middle of the ocean. After realizing Geralt's destiny with Ciri prevents him from claiming her for himself, Emperor Emhyr decides that Geralt must die. The final threat. In the last scene, Emhyr unleashes an unseen monster from his palace and sends it after Geralt. The beast is given Geralt's sentimental possession, Renfri's brooch, to track him by scent. This symbolic act twists Geralt's memories against him and initiates the final conflict of the series. So let me know any other series you'd like me to explain. And subscribe MMU Reviews for more videos, and thanks for watching.